Alright gang, welcome back to the Welch Review.
Yeah!
As you can see, we have another guest star. Sam and I are joined today by our very own oldest younger sister, Bella.
Yeah.
Who happens to be a very big Marvel aficionado.
That she is.
Arguably the biggest.
Arguably the biggest.
Yeah.
So Bella, tell us,
Pretty tall.
what Marvel film are we talking about today?
We are doing the review for Ant-Man, one of my personal favorites. Alright, let's get into this.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
Hit us with the plot, kid.
Alright, so pretty much it's just a movie about an ex-con named Scott Lang who tries to help try to be a father for his daughter. And he tries to stay out of crime, but it ends up just pulling him back in.
It's true. And now through being pulled back in, right, he tried to go straight, and it didn't really ultimately work out for him, and he goes back to crime. Where does that end up? Where does that end him up in?
So it ends up bringing him to Hank Pym, who's been watching Scott for a while and wants Scott to take on the mantle of the Ant-Man.
Yep.
All right, so which touches on, we got some characters. So we got Scott Lang, right, who's played by Paul Rudd. And we got Hank Pym, who's played by Michael Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of the other characters in this movie, Belle?
All right, so we got Luis.
Who's played by Michael Pena.
We got Hope Van Dyne.
Who's played by Evangeline Lilly.
Yes, and we've got Darren Cross, or the Yellow Jacket.
Who's played by Corey Stoll.
Yes.
And that's kind of the main roundup.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, you mentioned Hank's been watching Scott, and then Scott eventually takes on the mantle of Ant-Man, right?
Yes.
Now, how did you feel about Paul Rudd being Ant-Man?
You know, it's very different from some of their other movies. Like, they definitely got more of a comedic character, actor to play this, character. It's very much it's a passing the torch movie, and it's kind of like Marvel's changing point.
Okay.
Like from switching from kind of more of a serious, sarcastic kind of,
Kind of tone,
Yeah,
serious,
yeah.
sarcastic tone, and
To-
moving to a...
comedic kind of more like witty, like funny kind of deal.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so one thing that I think that we've kind of missed on, now just that we're talking about Ant-Man himself, is like, what's Ant-Man's power? Like, we, you know,
yes.
what if any of these guys don't know?
He shrinks down to the size of an insect, like an ant, and part of the reason why he's called Ant-Man is because the ants are his allies, so he can speak to the ants.
Yeah, get him to do what he wants. Can he also, like, grow really big?
Yeah, which kind of touches upon the whole concept of Giant Man from the comics,
Okay.
which is kind of brought back in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that's the next story. It's the
Next
sequel.
story.
Spoilers!
Boom.
Yeah, it has a sequel.
Who would've
And then
thought?
you mentioned Michael Pena, who I think was just fantastic in this movie.
Is that Louis?
Yes,
Yes, Louise.
Yeah, Louise. Louise is great.
Louise is that friend you always wish you had,
Mm.
but you kind of see it in your other friends. You know, he's always a happy guy. Like in the beginning, he mentions how his mom died, his dad got deported, and his girlfriend left him. And he's like, "But it's cool, man. I got the van."
That's just like his outlook on life.
You know,
Yeah.
and
There's
just
always an upside.
how Michael Pena talks when he tells a story.
Yeah.
Like how Peyton Reed filmed that, where like he just brought the characters he was talking about and dubbed his voice over their mouth, and
Yeah.
like
Yes. I saw an interview with Evangeline Lilly where she was talking about how fun it was to just be they would just be they would just be kind of like mouthing the words,
Pretending to
and then
talk.
Luis would be like, "Yo, man."
that's awesome.
All right, so we got Louise, we got the Ant-Man himself. You know, we got the main crew. But what about this bad guy? You know,
Right,
we have like an enemy. Why is he a bad guy?
So he's a bad guy because, well, first of all, Darren Cross, the bad guy who ends up being the Yellow Jacket, he is not he's not a stable guy to begin with, which Hank Pym kind of talks about in the story, because he saw too much of himself in him, and that's why he kind of took Darren Cross under his wing and then pushed him away because he saw too much of himself. And Darren Cross just kind of throughout the whole movie he becomes more unstable. right? Like he kills a guy named Frank, which for like just contradicting what Darren thought, and so he's just a very unstable kind of creepy guy.
Yeah. And what's his goal? Like, why is like he's unstable, right? But like there's plenty of unstable people, but most of them aren't like bad guys. So like what's like his evil plot? Like what's he trying to do?
What he wants to do is that he wants to make like a suit like the Ant-Man, like Hank Pym, so that Hank will be proud of him, and then he wants to become the richest and most powerful man in the world.
So how's he going to do that? Like the suit he's building, what's he trying to do with that suit?
So the suit he builds is called the Yellow Jacket, which he eventually he takes on the mantle of. And so what he wants to do is he just wants to make money off of it.
So he wants to sell it to like the Hydra agents that are in the army, right?
He wants to he wants to sell it to the people that are part of Hydra. And well, he doesn't think they're necessarily bad guys, which is how you know that he's a very, very bad guy.
Yeah, money will change people, that's for sure. So through the course of this, and then you mentioned this is your favorite film, right? This is your favorite film. You mentioned like it's definitely a more comedic caper. It's a passing the torch kind of deal. Why is Ant-Man, like, out of all the movies in the MCU, why has Ant-Man stood out as, like, if not your favorite still, but, like, up there as one of them?
Alright, so he's definitely up there because, you know, you've got characters like Luis who just kind of make the film.
Okay.
Like, you know, he just kind of, the way Luis tells a story is just, it's just remarkable. It's just hilarious. It'll make you laugh so hard. And then you got like a character like Scott, who's like a very realistic character, like compared to guys like Captain America and Iron Man, who are like, where Captain America's a man out of his time and Iron Man's just he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Right. But like Scott Lang, he's just got one of those stories where it's like he's like one of you, like he's one of just like a person.
Yeah, he's a normal dude.
He's just a guy.
It's true, and then there are not a lot of stories, a redemption story, right, where it's like, oh, this ex-con who is now the hero, right? There's not a lot of that in the superhero genre, you know?
It's very interesting because of, like, the way he tries to stay away from crime, but then crime pulls him back in, and the way that he kind of makes, like, finds his way is by, using crime, but in a good way.
Yeah, because eventually, even though he's still a criminal, he becomes a vigilante superhero.
Yeah.
So he does crime for good, which I think is a good way to describe his character the whole time.
Well, yeah, because, like, he's a nice guy. Like, the reason why he went to jail in the first place is because he was being kind of a Robin Hood-esque guy.
Yeah, he's trying to support his family, right?
Well, no, in the first one, remember, when he had to go to jail, he burgled this company called Vista Corp, and he sent all the money that they stole from the people, he sent it back to them.
Okay, well that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more people like that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Take down the empires.
Damn the man! Ant-Man says damn the man! So, alright, so I guess in looking at it then, you know, as comedy, has redemption, it does have a touch of action, right, and some thrills in it.
It does have a little bit of a love story going on with Hope and Scott, which, you know, is just my favorite MCU couple.
Favorite MCU couple, alright.
Favorite couple.
Very nice, so it's also a little bit of a rom-com.
Yes, because the way they just kind of banter the whole time is real funny, and then at the end, when Hank opens the door and he finds his daughter and Scott kissing, he goes, "What's happening?" And Hope's like, "Nothing's happening," and Scott's all like, "Something's happening." and then Hank's like, "Shoot me again."
That's awesome.
So
then, Belle, I guess, you know, for all the other Marvel lovers out there, you know, or those people who aren't necessarily have dipped their toe in Marvel yet, would you recommend that they start here with Ant-Man?
Or like where in their Marvel adventure, right? Like different movies that they could pick. Would you say Ant-Man's a good starting spot, or do you think, like, you know, maybe start at the beginning with Iron Man?
Well, Ant-Man's a very good movie. It's just that when they wrap in Falcon from the Captain America series, you kind of have to watch the other, like, you at least, if you're gonna watch Ant-Man, you at least have to watch Captain America: The Winter Soldier to kind of understand it.
If you're gonna watch that, you have to watch Captain America
Yes,
first.
but I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, if you want to kind of like, if you're starting out in the Marvel Universe, you should really just start off with Iron Man and then work your way up through the trilogy.
But Ant-Man's definitely like one of those good surprises along the way, and you're like, okay, there might be some ups and downs like in any franchise, but Ant-Man, it stands out.
Yes, Ant-Man's there. Like it's you can't miss it. It's like a thorn in your thumb. It's just one of those movies where
What an analogy!
Yeah.
It's the best thorn you ever got stuck in.
It's the only one that you don't want to remove. Yeah.
It's like it's the person you'll pick out with the yellow shirt.
Okay.
Like it's just that happy kind of go lucky funny movie.
Yellow shirts don't die in Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good aside.
Red shirts do.
Richard's still. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, although it might be tiny, it is total dynamite.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Don't forget, ants can lift 15 times their weight.
Boom! Trivia!
All right. Well, I think that covers Ant-Man. I don't know if do you have any last remarks on the subject?
Yes, you cannot forget Ant-Man's trusty sidekick, Anthony.
Oh. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Anthony.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Don't worry, he has descendants. She, because it's an ant.
And ants are they're double sexual?
There's something.
No, ants are normally females.
Oh.
Yeah, most like, I mean, I could be wrong. But I know like with bees, like most of the bees are women.
There you have it. Ants are ladies. Maybe. We're not scientists. Thank you for tuning into the Welch Review, and a big shout out to Bella. Thank you for kicking it with us and talking about Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.